Hey Charlie, I'm just sending you this video really quick to give you a couple quick tips on how to use Elements and your Intuos 4. To start off, there was a driver that was released just yesterday. I already opened up some of the stuff this time. I'm actually redoing this video because the last one I had a little bit of lag. So when you go to wacom.com, just go to Support and Drivers, and then under Drivers, choose your tablet model, which in this case, Intuos 4. Operating system Windows 8, and you'll see that one was just added a day ago, and hit download. So then once that's up to date, you can X out of here, go to your start menu, and you want to go to all apps. The biggest thing that you want to do first is find your tablet properties. And to start off under here, you see how I have Photoshop and Photoshop Elements added in under Application. You want to hit the plus sign in order to do that. You can browse for it if you already have it open. It'll allow you to choose it right there. Little funny thing that I noticed, you have to do it for both grip pen and also for functions, or else everything might get a little bit wacky. Now, in here, the reason why it's very important to have this set up is because this is going to be basically the way you use your tablet in any program, as far as both the pen and the tablet itself goes. If you want the feel to be more soft and firm, if you want it to be more sensitive, pressures for your eraser, mapping the screen, like if you want this to be to the left or the right, depending upon, how you like to draw. Under functions here, this is where you can customize both the buttons and the wheels. This is just the way I have it. You could do whatever you want with it. For me, like a big thing here is I always like to have pan and scroll, that little hand to drag around stuff as an option. And it also gives you a few options for like when you're browsing the internet too, like an on-screen keyboard. Obviously, I'm really not going to use that, but just to give you an example. Sorry, Joe's playing a game in the background. Anyway, so under touch ring, this is the toggle button. The first dot's the option is zoom. This one is going to be to cycle layers. This one is going to be your brush size, and this one is canvas rotation. Again, you could change these two however you want. I actually like this setup, so I left it alone because when you click on toggle, it's automatically going to be on scroll and zoom first, then you move the wheel this way to zoom in, and that way to zoom out. And then if you touch the button again, brings you to cycle layers, same thing, in and out, and so forth, and you get that general idea. The radial menu is something else that you could customize if you add an express key to the, just to go back here, one of these keys to the radial menu, you could do that as well. And this will be more handy for when you're going online. I don't personally use it because, quite frankly, if I'm going to do that, I'd rather just use my mouse and not be lazy, but that's just me and how I roll. And that's honestly it. After you have all this stuff set up, you want to exit out of here and open up Photoshop Elements and go in a photo editor. I was a lot more prepared this time because I had too many programs open. Then you want to hit the Expert tab to bring up all this stuff, which I know I already showed you last time. So you go to File, New, Blank File, however many inches, pixels, whatever you want. Hit OK. Now, if you hit this tab down here for layers, this is going to show you your layer screen. And this little icon up here will allow you to create additional layers, which is always handy for, in case you mess up. If you click on Effects for Graphics, this will give you different filters that you could browse between if you want to create different stylized effects for whatever it is you're trying to do. And just generally, these are different options that you could play with. Now, one of the biggest things I wanted to show you as well is under Brush here. It doesn't have like a direct sensitivity thing, I noticed, so you kind of have to play with your brush settings to get it really the way you want. In my case, I do like it to be more hard rather than round, because then you get a thinner line it's a lot more precise, and especially since I tend to illustrate more, that's just the way I roll. So you see how the brush is changing. And I noticed that keeping the fade around that much, see how I go up and you start to lose that little tail? I like keeping it like that, so this way it feels more like it has a little sensitivity to when you're drawing. So this way you could create a more fluid line. And that I did more so with fade and hardness as far as the options. And after that, that's really it, because then after that you could play with, different colors, use the paint can to fill, gradient. A lot of it is just kind of toying with it and figuring out. I know it's not as great as Photoshop because it does give you less options still, but I mean, as far as something to draw goes, it still works. And now that I'm in here, you can see with the tablet, I'm using the wheel now. See how I started to move a little bit? I could still zoom in. I could still zoom out. I could still use my wheel to customize between, like I said, what I want to do and where I want to go. I'm just flipping through these so you could see that I'm actually doing it. And, I could still do what I want here. So now, as a last little tidbit, that was my fault. I'm just drawing you something pretty. Did I mention I was still slightly medicated? And there you go.